Hello everybody, this is Tim here again. Here with a review for the Crow franchise. Just to start off, each sequel I'm going to judge as its own film, which is the only way to judge them fair, because if I don't, then every sequel is crap compared to the first. So I'm going to judge each sequel as its own film because they're all a different Crow and none of them are continuations of the first. Not really. So to jump into the first film, first Crow film is a great film. Alex Proy is the director. He also did Dark City, which is an even better film than this one in my opinion. I love Dark City and I love this film. The movie The Crow is a great film. Brandon League is a very charming performance. No matter how vengeful he gets on his enemies in the film, you still like him because he's so charismatic and he's so likable, enjoyable to watch. And Brandon League is a great performance in the movie that's completely helped and amplified by the atmosphere of the movie, the directing of the movie, the beautiful color look scheme of this movie, and the flashbacks that have like a bright red like tint to them when they're inside like Brandon Lee's character Eric Draven's apartment or whatever when it's showing flashbacks to when him and his girlfriend were killed. There's this beautiful red color look to it. Just great all around. All the actors do fine. Michael Wincott as the villain is hilarious. This is also the one of the most realistic comic book films I've ever seen next to The Dark Knight. Those two, in my opinion, are the most realistic comic book films I've ever seen. And everybody knows the story of The Crow. Brandon Lee, as an actor, when he first started out in the movie Kung Fu, his acting was actually bad in that movie, in my opinion, but he got better as he progressively went along, and you can tell that he like studied acting while he did like each film and tried to improve. And by the time you get to The Crow, he gives like a great performance. And I have to talk about this. I don't even want to bring it up because I really just want to focus on the film, but I have to talk about his death, which if you know anything about the man's death, when you watch this film, you can really feel it because this film deals with death and loss and sadness, and it just like hangs over the movie. And it's so sad that the man had to die at such a young age. It's horrible that I mean, nothing to do with him being an actor or anything, just at such a young age to pass away is just horrible. Anybody who dies at a young age like that, it's a tragedy. It's very sad. Way too young to die. He would have had a great career ahead of him. Rather, he would have probably have done like a sequel to The Crow, and even if he would have just like stuck to doing action films or whatever, it still would have been a lot of great action films. It would have been a lot of fun. And it's very sad that the man passed away so early. And it's just horrible. But just to go back into the film as it is, this is an easy. I judge my movies from 1 to 4 stars. This is an easy 4-star film. Great film. And I just love the ending. Well, even though it gets a little messy, where what powers the Crow should have, because he's supposed to be human at the end, but he has Crow powers anyway. So it's like what? But you get to the end, and he's able to like take the memories of stuff from other people of the incident of him and his girlfriend being killed, and he's able to like transfer that to other people. So he takes like the pain of his woman dying from all the time she was raped by Michael Wincott's gang, because he's the one that had him killed, and he takes the pain of her like in the hospital room in the bed or whatever when she was like fighting to stay alive. He takes that pain, transfers it into Michael Wincott's head. His name's Top Dollar, the character is. Transfers it into his mind, gives him the pain, and the dude like goes into cardiac arrest and falls off the top of the church house into this big like gargoyle and gets pierced. Epic death, great way to kill the villain. There's this little girl in the movie, Sarah, who was being took care of by Brandon Lee and his woman in the movie. Eric Draven's character and Shelley, his girlfriend's name. Those two characters took care of this little girl in the movie named Sarah, whose mother was a drug addict who actually quits drugs by the end of the film, which is good. And they took care of her in the movie. The movie ends with her at like their grave sites. Just at this movie's core, it's a basic action revenge story, really. But the wonderful music and the wonderful score and just the beautiful gothic look to this film, and the great performances elevated from that into a great motion picture. And just the scene when Brandon Lee's like putting on the Crow makeup and is playing like the Cure song in the background, it's friggin' awesome. It elevates the film into pure badassery. 4-star film, great film, must-see film at least once. At least once you should see this. I've seen it 20 billion times. You should see it at least once. Crow 2, City of Angels. I'm going to say, The Crow 2 City of Angels theatrical cut is a 1.5-star film. Terrible cut of the film. Terrible. The director's cut gives a little bit more to the film, makes some of the scenes extended, extends the ending to make it more impactful. It takes a crap 1.5-star film and turns it into an alright film. On its own, the Crow director's cut, City of Angels, on its own, the director's cut is an alright film. A 2.5-star alright basic revenge film. But the heart, a lot of the heart is gone from the first film. It's watered down here. I will say, this is the worst case of studio butchering I've ever seen. In the original cut of this film, it ended with the Crow, played by Vincent Perez, who gives a decent performance as the Crow, as a different version of the Crow. He's a totally different character than Eric Draven from the first film. He likes to play like magic tricks when he was alive, so when he's the Crow, he does like these little magic tricks to screw with enemies before he kills them. He's like, pick a card, like before he kills them. That's kind of fun. The only thing is his accent kind of gets in the way, and he's more of a gunfighter than a martial artist compared to the Crow from the first film. So it makes it different than the one from the first film. But anyway, this is the worst case of studio butchering I've ever seen. This film was completed, and the original cut of this film would have been a pretty good film, a 3.5-star film. As it is, this film has been chopped to death. The original cut ended with the Crow choosing to stay behind instead of going to the afterlife to be with his son so he could save the girl that he fell in love with. And there was even going to be a love scene with him and the girl. And the girl was played by Mia Kirshner, who's an actress I enjoy. And she was going to be playing like a grown-up Sarah from the first film, which is cool. Is Sarah needed for this film? No. But it's cool that she's there. And originally it was going to end with him like having defeated the bad guy, but her dying and her telling him that if two people love each other, nothing can keep them apart if they really love each other. And so, that would have added into the, the love theme of the movies. And the film would have ended with him as like a walking, zombie ghost, the Crow, having to wander the planet by himself until the end of time when he can be reunited with his girlfriend and his son. But it ends with a hint that Sarah's going to come back as a Crow because her love for the character of Ash in this movie is so strong that she was going to come back as a Crow. And that would have been a beautiful way to end it, and would have added to like a love story element. It would have made the film different from the first film, more different, and enabled it to work on its own. Would have made it a pretty good film, but studio said, no, cut it to pieces, let's rape it and turn it into this. But as it is, the director's cut restores at least a few more of the original scenes and makes it into an alright movie. This poor film just never had a chance. The studio, they killed their own film. They killed it. They killed it. And what's even worse is the footage has to still exist. I know the studio has to have it, and they refuse to release the original version of the film. I have no idea why. Why? Why not just release this original version of the film? And you can look up and see the differences, and it sounds so much better than the theatrical cut and the director's cut. It sounds so much better. Why not release the better version of the film? I don't get it. It blows my mind that they would have a better version of the film and choose not to release it. I don't get it at all. People would buy it. Just release a director's cut on a DVD with the original Crow, and even maybe put back some scenes in the original Crow to make it extended, because Michael Byerman had a character in the first one called the Skull Cowboy that was took out. And he was going to be like a supernatural character that was explaining the rules to Brandon Lee's character about what's going on. They deleted him, and I actually think that was kind of a good deletion, even though it would have been cool to have him there. And I saw the footage of the character, and he looked good, but he really wasn't needed. But you could put his shit back in the first one, extend the first one, and then do a director's cut of the second one, slap them together on one disc, and you got to sell. Hell, you would sell good. People would love an extended version of the original Crow. I know Dimension Films owns this franchise, I'm pretty sure. And they're horrible at franchises. They're horrible. The later Hellraiser sequels, terrible. The later Children of the Corn movies, terrible. The later Halloween movies, terrible. They own all these films. They had the original cut of Halloween 6, the producer's cut. Took them friggin' forever to release it. Forever. I don't know what the deal is with them and not releasing the original better cuts of films that they hacked to death. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But it's besides the point. It would have been a pretty good sequel. As it is, the director's cut is the only version that should be watched, and it's an alright 2.5-star movie. There were more scenes of how brutal Ash was to the person that like killed his son. He throws her out a window in the theatrical cut. She just like hits a vehicle and falls over, and there's a blood smear, and she's dead. In the original cut, he throws her out the window. Her head hits a vehicle, and she's like begging him to kill her, and he says no, and just leaves her there to suffer. And then a gang like comes by and rapes her to death. That would have been friggin' brutal as hell, and would have helped and would have fit perfectly with the super dark tone of this movie. I mean, perfect. But no, can't have any creativity. Can't have something to enhance the darkness of the film. Gotta chop it out. Some unknown reason. If you see the first Crow and you're interested in like another Crow story, I'd say give the director's cut a watch. It's an alright film, but this film is nowhere on the level it should have. It would have been if the studio hadn't hacked it to death. They killed their own film. Then we get to the Crow Salvation. I will say, best sequel. Crow Salvation, best sequel, in my opinion. I'm judging each film on their own. Remember that, people, okay? If I judged each one of these compared to the original, they would all be crap. No matter what cut they were in, director's cut or otherwise. Except for the original version of Crow City of Angels. That would have still been at least a good film if it would have been left in its original cut. Even comparing it with the first one. Now, on to the Crow Salvation. The Crow Salvation, the Crow is played by Eric Mabus. Once again, a totally different Crow than the first two. This guy's more like having fun as the Crow. Like, he's more evil and mischievous as the Crow. Like, he'll screw with the people in, like, dark, humorous ways before he kills them. Like, he'll take a gun and shoot himself and have himself regenerate, and he'll just be, like, smiling while he's doing it. I just love how this film, unlike the first two where they take place in, like, a comic book world, this film is in more, like, the real world. And the Crow is like this dude played by Eric Mabus who was in like Ugly Betty, and he gets framed for the murder of his girlfriend, who actually saw some corrupt cops shoot an informant, and they ended up killing her because she saw him, and they frame him for it. Fred Ward is like the captain of the police department or whatever, and he has the guy framed for it, and he gets electrocuted in the electric chair, and he comes back as the Crow, and he like peels off his burnt skin, and it's Crow makeup underneath. That was badass. That was cool. And Fred Ward, it's awesome to see him here. I love Fred Ward. He's hilarious in Tremors. He's hilarious in that Naked Gun movie. I love Fred Ward as an actor. He's great here. And then Kristen Dunst is here. She's like all right in the movie. She's okay. She's like the weakest part acting wise in this whole film. And we get to the end where he's like got the Fred Ward, and he takes him and puts his ass in the electric chair and friggin' fries him. And you get this cool scene where he's like baking alive, and the romance is even like the heart of the movie of like the dead girlfriend is handled all right here. Like there's some heart to some of the scenes with her and Eric Mabus together. It's about equal to the story of the father and his son that got killed in the second film. Neither one of them matched the heart of the first film, but neither one of them are bad. Then we get the Crow. Well, before I get to the last one, the Crow Salvation is a 3.5-star film. Not a great film, but a pretty good standalone Crow story in this saga. Not worth a watch. Better than the Crow City of Angels in either cut, director's cut or theatrical cut. But the original cut of the Crow City of Angels I would have liked better than Crow Salvation. But as it is, pretty good film, 3.5-star film. Then we get to the worst of these films is next. I will give it a 0.5 star because I like one visual in the film of a chick sitting on a swing with like no eyeballs in the afterlife. I like that. We got Danny Trejo in this film doing a rain dance to revive the Crow. I shit you not. I like the new setting being in Mexico. It's different from the city settings. I like that, but this film is terrible. They try to give more character to the villains and the Crow himself by introducing them all before they end up killing the Crow and making him turn into the Crow, and before they turn evil. They try to give like more backstory on them, which is cool that they want to flesh the characters out like that. It makes them more interesting than just like one-note characters. But the problem is they try to flesh them out by having scenes where they're like, you know, maybe I shouldn't be killing all these people. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But it never amounts to anything because they're just like thinking about it for 1 second with a gun in their hand, and then the next second they're going, well, you know what, hell with it. Pow, 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 just kill everybody. You know, even kids. It's like, what? What's the point of introducing these elements if none of them are ever going to go, maybe this is kind of douchebaggish? There's never that moment where not even one of them, at least one of them goes, this guy's stupid. I mean, But anyway, Edward Furlong as the Crow, he's actually fine as the human guy before he dies and comes back to life as the Crow. But when he comes back as the Crow, he looks ridiculous. When he comes back as the Crow, he looks like some dude going to a My Chemical Romance concert. And I hate that band. I'll just be honest. Friggin' hate that band. And he comes back and he looks ridiculous. And he's horrible in the kung fu scenes. He's horrible. And he overacts as the Crow so bad. David Boreanaz or Boyez or whatever from the show Buffy and Bones, which he's actually not bad on either one of those. He plays the main bad guy in this movie who ends up getting possessed. Sorry, I blanked out there for a second. He ends up getting possessed by the devil at the end of the movie, which is retarded. And he starts fighting the Crow, and up until then he's been an alright villain, and at the end when he gets possessed by the devil, he starts friggin' spouting one-liners and cheesy shit, and he's so over the top, he's terrible. And Tara Reid in this film, who's actually the bad guy's girlfriend, who cut Edward Furlong's woman's eyes out, at the end she gets to go free. She just she repents and she just gets to go free. And I'm like, what? No. No. All the other evil women in the other Crow films from 1 through 3 all got the same treatment as the men. Okay, they were all massacred, equally as terrible as the guys. You can't get to this one and be like, since you're a woman, it's okay. I don't care how many people you killed. You're a woman. Well, what can you say? I'm sorry. I'm an equal opportunist. If a woman butchered my whole family and I came back to life, bitch is dead. I'm sorry. I don't give a damn if you're a man or a woman. If you're an asshole, you deserve an ass kicking. That's just life. So that was stupid. And then we get to the end and he's reunited with his loved one, his woman. The woman here was actually really pretty. The woman whoever the actress was that played his girlfriend was really attractive. But then we get to the end where he's reunited with his woman. It ends like a typical Crow story. And it's just lame. This movie's just crap. Crap. It's laughable when they try to get Edward Furlong to do kung fu. It's laughable. It's laughable. And he just looks like a little bitch in his makeup and stuff. He's fine as the human version. But when he's the Crow, it's totally miscast. It's like he doesn't know how to pull this character off. It's like he doesn't know what kind of emotions to convey or how to convey these emotions realistically as this character. But when he's a human, he's fine. When he's the Crow, he's atrocious. All in all, half a star. Crap. Then for the Crow TV series, I hate they have a real world setting in the Crow TV series, like the Crow Salvation did, but the difference here is everything's real sunny, and the sun is always out, and you see the Crow in full makeup and broad daylight, and he looks friggin' ridiculous, to be honest, in the Crow TV series. Mark Dacascos is a great martial artist. He's great. I would even say he's fine as the Crow. As for a TV version, he's fine. He's not bad. But just turning the Crow into a TV series doesn't work. Because the Crow, like him or hate the movies or the character, he's a simple character. He's a dude that gets brought back to life, kicks ass, take names, and then he goes back to the afterlife. That's all there is to this story. Trying to stretch that out into a TV series is a terrible idea to begin with. As a TV series as a whole, it's okay. The TV series it's okay. It'd be 2 stars. It's an okay show. Moving on. I know they've been talking about doing a remake of the first film. I don't think that's going to happen anymore, or at least not anytime soon. I will say this. The comic book is a lot different than the actual movie of The Crow that was made with Brandon Lee. I have no problem with a new Crow movie that takes inspiration from the comic and sticks directly to the comic. No problem with that at all. I don't think that would be disrespectful to the original film whatsoever to do a remake that goes by the comic, because it's a different type of story. It would just have some characters with similar names. Well, I mean, not a different type of story, but it's a different story. There's a lot of differences. It'd be enough to make it its own movie and stand on its own. And that would be fine. Don't try to repeat the goth look of the first film or the second. Don't try to do that again. Don't. Do your own look. Maybe I would even be fine with doing a realistic look like Crow's Salvation. That would be fine. But don't try to repeat the gothic look of the first two. But yes, a Crow remake I would be fine with, as long as they stuck to the comic and didn't try to redo the original film. I would be absolutely fine with it. Oh, but what I would rather see, honestly, is just another Crow sequel. Just do a freaking sequel. Each one of these is a different movie about a different person who's lost someone and came back to life to avenge that. This is just my idea, but The Crow 5 should be a movie about a woman crow. Get a female crow. I think it would be cool if it was a female crow, and for the story of tragedy, have it be like a pregnant woman, maybe even an ex-military woman, so she could be like a gun expert, a crow who's an expert at guns and like military training, and she friggin' maybe even gets killed. Well, have her. I think it would be cool if she was like pregnant and like she gets killed along with her unborn baby, and she comes back for revenge for it, and she's an expert in guns because she was in the military and knows how to handle herself. That would honestly be fine with me. That would be cool with me. I know people are going to be like, sick, kill an unborn child, but these movies are very brutal. That would work in terms of a story for me, because I think that would really hit home with a lot of people. Loss of a child, especially with a lot of because a woman has to carry a child inside of her, and having her like dying along with her unborn child like that, I think would give a real punch to the story and get you hooked and really make you hate these villains even more, whoever they would be in the film. Or go back in time and do like a past story of the Crow. You know, the Crows existed for millions of years. Do a Crow in the Old West. It could be a female Indian Crow with the same exact thing happening to her with an unborn child dying. And she could come back with like Indian friggin' Crow style war paint. Hell, that could look badass. She could be killing cowboys. You know, shit, anything. It could exist in you could do. They need to elevate. They need to do. If you can't change the formula of this. You can't really change the formula too much of The Crow, because it's a simple revenge story. But if you're gonna do a sequel, spice it up. Do something like a female Crow, and set it in another time period, or have it be something different, like a totally different character, maybe even like somebody fighting behind enemy lines in the military, and she gets betrayed by her own troops or something like that, or anything, something. It needs to be spiced up. But if you want to keep the franchise going, you need to spice it up. But whatever happens next, I really think it needs to be a female Crow. Honestly, I really think it needs to be a female Crow. And it's not nothing to do with like feminist stuff or anything like that. It's just that spicing it up, you need a different style lead. And having a woman as the lead, you could see things from a different perspective instead of the man's perspective for once in the franchise. And I think that would work fine. So yeah, that's just my opinions. As far as the Crow franchise goes, great original film, 4-star original film. Alright director's cut of the sequel. Only watch the director's cut. Crow City of Angels director's cut is the only one worth watching. Pretty good Crow Salvation movie, 3.5 star Crow Salvation. Not bad, but pretty good movie. Crow Wicked Prayer is garbage. 0.5 star, garbage. Just trash. And I'll see you guys again with whatever comes next. Or hell, before I go, there's even some Crow comics that have badass stories. Adapt some of those. I'll see you guys again with I now really will see you guys again with whatever comes next.